Connected up today, February 18th, 2024. Sorry, got excited because we're 1 week away from the return of Rick and Michonne on TV, AMC Plus. It'll be here before you know it. So I'll be here for the next hour, guys, to talk about this live stream where you're watching it real time or on the replay. Truly appreciate you guys taking the time to be a part of this live stream. And so we'll just wait for YouTube to catch up and connect. And sorry, we're making sure we're good. So kind of some big news today. We got my book series, Fight for Us the End, is available today on digital and paperback. So it's the end of Fight for Us. 20th book of the series. So between this and In 100 Days, we have 23 books of that. Awesome stuff. So Vesper Gaming, I don't know what spoilers you're looking for, but I don't have anything. I haven't seen the episodes, and I'm personally okay with that. You know, I don't care about knowing all these potential spoilers. Like, I don't need to know yet how the episode airs. Now, if we get to see some stuff before it comes out this week, maybe, but I don't know. So now, Vesker, they're just on paperback and digital format on Kindle, so it's through Amazon. Nothing on Audible yet, maybe down the road if there's a demand for it, but that's a whole separate process, so I'm excited to see where the future holds for that. But I'm going to take a little break from it, and don't want to give anything away for the book series, but definitely check it out if you're interested. But no, I want to do audiobooks, and I think a lot of people are liking that too, because, you know, I would have seen, if you had a choice of paperback, digital, or Audible audiobook, what would you pick? Like, you have all three available to you. Money's not an object. You can buy whatever you want. What is the best format? What do you think in books? What do you like better? Let me know in the chat. So we're 1 week away, guys, from the return of Rick and Michonne. And it feels like forever, right? It feels like Rick has been gone. Like, we've seen a glimpse of him here at the end of the end of the Walking Dead series. We saw a little trailer, teaser, this, that, little snippets, little things there. And, you know, we get to see little tastes, breadcrumbs. But I want to know, like, I want the meal. Then I want the dessert. I want the big satisfying piece of Rick and Michonne for the Walking Dead universe, you know? Enough of these little teasers. We don't need these appetizers. We need the full course. We need the buffet, actually, right? We need the buffet of the Walking Dead universe, right? We want Rick, Michonne, Jadis, World Beyond people, Judith, RJ, Morgan, Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Negan. We need all these people. We need reunions. And I don't know if we're going to get them, but either way, guys, in 1 week, we'll find out how the series starts with the first episode of it, too. So, Carol says, "Hey, Brad, Q&A. Did you see the Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero 40-minute Sonoy reunion?" I didn't see it. I've seen pictures of it, and I haven't seen the 40-minute thing yet, but I know it's Denai and Andy in Sonoy. They go around the homes that were filmed for The Walking Dead, and they talk about a bunch of different things. I'll have to check it out, that's for sure. But we saw when they were there in Sonoy, like, Denai is wearing this yellow dress, and Andy Lincoln is wearing whatever clothes. But I remember Denai is wearing this yellow dress that stands out. And they talk about here, and they go in a couple of the homes where they filmed. So it's pretty cool stuff that's finally come out as like it's a reunion type thing. So I see Jeannie says paperback. Lindsay says paperback. Rob says Audible. Tim says paperback. So Diana says paperback. So all right, so we see a little more paperback. You know, it's all right. There's no right or wrong answer, and you want to have all. That's why I make a digital format for Kindle. It's cheaper, more accessible, but I know paperback. A lot of people like the actual physical book too, so that's awesome. Hardback, yeah. So I know hardback's just more money, and I tried to make it cost feasible with stuff. You know, paperback. You know, I don't make a lot of money per book. I don't make a lot of at all. You know, I'm not making it's very a small percentage of it. You know, after the cost of the paperback being made then you get a percentage of the actual profit after that. It's really not that much money at all. And that's okay. I'm not doing it to be rich. That's for sure, because I'm definitely not getting rich from this book. I'm not getting rich at all, but I mean, it's a thing that it's there. And Carol says paperback. So a lot more physical paperback stuff. That's okay. Which is good. James says, hey man, how are you doing today? What is the most popular book in the fight for us? I don't know. That's a good question, James. Probably the first one was picked up most, but it's probably one of my worst books for the first books. But I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. That would be a question for like Carol and everybody else that's actually read the books, Lindsay and stuff that have been a part of the franchise. That what is their favorite book? All of so I give like the general answer of my favorite book is the next book. But I have some favorites in the course of them too, and just favorite moments of it. But that's a good question for the people who read the series. What is their actually favorite book of the series? So be that as it may, guys, I'm just sorry. I wanted to talk about Fight for Us, and I know people are like, get to the Walking Dead stuff. Sorry, I'm like happy to talk about my book series because it's a big day. I started the book series in 2017. It came out in April 2017, I believe. So it's less than 7 years later that I have, 20 books of Fight for Us and 3 books of In 100 Days. So 23 books of this franchise and universe. That's pretty awesome. And I'm proud of myself, and I'm excited for the future of it, and I'm excited for guys to check it out. And to me, it just goes to show you that anyone can do it. And like I said, I'm a nobody. I don't have English writing, literature, training of this and that. I just went through it and processed and changed and adapted, and some of the early stuff was kind of bad, but it's cool. So, but the Walking Dead universe is coming together next week, guys. So, remember when it was supposed to be movies, and it was supposed to be this, and then COVID, and it was supposed to be that, and we're not sure about this, and we're not sure about this, we're not sure about that. Are we ever going to see Rick again? Michonne went away. They did this. They did that. They wrapped up the other shows. They wrapped up this. And it feels like, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't feel like as once I was hyped about The Walking Dead in season 3, 4, 5, 6, everything like that. But it's still exciting that we're going to see Rick and Michonne back, and they were filming in New Jersey, and they were filming last year. Like a year ago, they were about to start filming. And I had friends that got pictures with Andy Lincoln, and they were there. And now, a year later, we're going to actually get to see Rick and Michonne in the show that was titled Summit for filming, but is titled The Ones Who Live. And it's awesome because we get to actually see this. Now, there's going to be all this speculation and rumors and this. So the biggest things now about the rumors are that we could see more people from the Walking Dead universe. It's a possibility. You never know. But there was no word about that. And I don't want it to be like a flashback of like, oh, there's Judith. But it's not new footage of Judith. Okay, so does that really count? Like, if I see a flashback, Michonne thinks about Judith and RJ and this and that when she left, that doesn't count. Like, to me, in my books, Judith was there. RJ. Yeah, it's a nonsense thing. Like, Judith wasn't in the Daryl Dixon show. Yeah, we heard a thing and this and that, whatever. And then Carol's on there, but then we saw Carol, so then she technically was. So, I'm just excited to see how it's going to be. And I'm not holding out like it's going to be the best show ever, and they're going to connect the dots, and we're going to have reunions, and Morgan's going to show up, and Daryl's going to show up, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. I have faith in Denai and Andy, and I guess a little bit of Gimple. But the fact that Andy and Denai are writing and producing and starring in, and if I was writing a show, and I was producing a show, and I was starring in it, or if I was writing and producing, I have multiple hats and we're involved. When you have too many people reaching in the cookie jar, too many hands, it gets messy. Cookies break. They turn to crumbs. It's just crap, But now when you got people involved, they know the character. For a lot of people, Andy Lincoln is Rick Grimes. Denai Guerrera is Michonne. And so hopefully they know the character and the little bit of them. Like one of the best things about Daryl is that's Norman Reedus playing Daryl Dixon, but Daryl is Norman, Norman is Daryl. And that's like great. If you've ever seen an actor and they feel at least like a regular person, like John Bernthal or, Jeffrey Dean Morgan or Norman Reedus or Paul Rudd or, John Hamm or whatever. Like every time I see them being interviewed, Gerard Butler or something, you're like, wow, I just like that guy. I just like that girl. They seem like a genuine good person. So I just watched a movie called Iron Claw, and I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while since it came out. But Iron Claw is a good movie about the Von Erich wrestling family. And it's a good movie. It's a sad movie, but it's a good movie. And stars Zac Efron as one of the Von Erich brothers. And it's sad, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's a sad movie. But it's a good movie. It's based on a true story. I don't know what was exactly happening with it and what happened with all this stuff, but I don't want to give anything away. But if you like wrestling, I'm not afraid to say I like some of Zac Efron's movies. Like, I don't know the younger movies when he's like dancing around in whatever, high school, whatever. I don't care about any of that stuff. But the stuff I've seen him in, he's been pretty good. Like he did a show on Netflix or something where he's talking about local stuff and traveling around the world. And I forget what it was called, but he's like indigenous people to the country and the land and doing this. And it was kind of cool to see. And it just seems like a regular good guy. And he's always in shape. I remember being in like Baywatch. That movie kind of sucks. But he does a decent job in it. And I kind of just feel like he's a cool guy and good guy. But, it's a good movie. It's a sad movie. But definitely, I don't even know if you have to really like wrestling that much. Because there's not that much wrestling in it at all. It's more about a family story. Like, definitely, whenever you watch it on streaming or whatever, you get a chance to watch it, I definitely recommend the movie called Iron Claw. It's pretty good. Yeah, and I didn't see that movie as Ted Bundy. If it's a series or a movie, but I heard it was pretty good. But he does a good job, I think, Yeah, Faith and Gimple with like I don't know, not so much that, but the fact that Andy and Denai are involved, I have more faith in them with stuff too. So overall, guys, the other big thing is that the producer, Gail Ann Hurd, who used to be married to, I think, or she at least dated, could have been married, I'm pretty sure it was married, but dated James Cameron. And that's crazy. But like, she was involved with Aliens, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And she's involved with all that stuff. But she did a great job and probably a big reason for success for The Walking Dead. I mean, a lot of people are, but she's definitely involved too. She said something about joining the cast. Yeah, I know she was in a relationship definitely with Cameron. And I don't know if they were married or whatever, but I think they were. I feel like they were. But again, I don't know if they just worked together or not, but I could be mistaken about the relationship. I know she worked on with Terminator and definitely Aliens. But she said, I think, something on the lines of like casting to be on The Walking Dead or something. And so people are reading it into her tweet, hey, Phantom Deluxe, that, season 2, because there's no show filming right now except for Dead City should start up. And they said March, but now they're saying April for Massachusetts. So it may be weather driven, so they may push it back till April. So is that what she's talking? I don't know, but people are reading into the fact that she said something about the cast and blah, blah, blah. And they haven't really said that these are the final episodes for Rick and Michonne anywhere. Maybe they have, but I haven't seen it. But I just have a feeling like we could get more Rick and Michonne. Whether it's season 2, another show, season 12 of The Walking Dead, whatever. I don't care if it's one season of The Ones Who Live, but Rick and Michonne both live. they get to see that. So also, I got to talk about the red light, because I saw something. I took a screenshot from the TWD spin-offs, photos, and facts, and it's pretty good, because he says, we're seeing the use of red lights in the trailers and teasers for The Ones Who Live. There's a practical reason for using them rather than a regular light, flashlight, torch, headlight, floodlight, since your eyes can see better in the dark when the red light is used. So, okay, I get it. But when it's during the day and there's red clothes and lanterns and this and that, I still believe in the red, But I think it is made for emphasis and danger and warning and the symbolism. I still stand by that. And at night, it makes sense, especially in the woods, because there's a photo with Pearl and Rick in the woods, and he's got the handcuff on his left wrist, and he's got the red light. And there's a big scene with the red. And so there's a lot of red all over the trailers and teasers, and there's also a lot of fire in the trailers and teasers. So I don't know what to make of it. Maybe it's just part of it. Maybe it's just trying to build up the hype for it on there too. But we'll see. I don't know if Rick's going to die or not. I hope not, because I want him to live to be around for the reunions. I mean, I was talking with my wife, and I'm like, because, next Sunday is the premiere of The Ones Who Live. And we're talking about it, and we're excited for it and everything there too. And she's like, I don't care about all this stuff, but I want to see the group get back together. It was always kind of annoying on The Walking Dead, where the group would be apart, together, separated, back together, separated, half the group's together, half's there, like all these different things. And then they come back together, and Daryl's over there and over here, and someone's at the kingdom, and someone's over there, and it's kind of just all over the place. It was when the group got back together and they stayed there. That's where the big moments are too. Some of the best stuff is when they're working together to get stuff done. And that's why I still love episode 609. It's the group all together inside Alexandria, killing a bunch of walkers and getting it done. And that's why I think that's one of the best episodes there is. But I don't think that Daryl's going to show up, or this one's going to show up, or that's going to show up. You never know. And maybe it is. Phantom Deluxe Q&A, do you think the element of the civic republic government being separate from the military could be a possible plot point in future to take down the CRM and a possible civil war as our heroes are weaker? Well, yeah, that's a great point, Phantom Deluxe, and I totally agree. We have to separate the civic republic from the civic republic military. That M is pretty big. The CR is a civic republic. The M is the military, the CRM. So I would assume that the CRM is kind of doing what they want because they can. This is a zombie apocalypse, right? So there is a huge element of lawlessness, right? But at some point, you have to rebuild society. You have to have laws. You have to have just stuff that people abide by, It's kind of like the Wild West. You can't just go around shooting people. You can't just go around stealing. You can't just go around doing that, right? You have to be able to defend yourself, protect yourself, be a good, upstanding person. But if you do these things, you break the laws, which have been around before the zombie apocalypse, that should eventually come back around. Something's got to happen. The CRM is the biggest military in the world, and they're the last light of the world, and they're the last this and last that. That's the military, not the civic republic. The military is a branch of the civic republic is what I'm getting, right? So I'm thinking about it as I think they need to have help at some point. So if that's season 1, season 2, season 7, I don't know, something needs to happen. But we need to have a resolution with the CRM, Major General Beale, Jadis, all that nonsense. And are we eventually going to meet the council president or the head council member or whatever, right? Are we going to ever see anyone like that? Are we going to see people from the world beyond? I think that makes the most sense to see people from the world beyond. If it's Elizabeth Kublik or Dr. Bennett or Hope or Iris or Silas or Elton or this or that, whoever we're going to see. So, but yeah, I agree. They need help, and if they don't have help, it's kind of wishful thinking that, Michonne and her group of people and Rick and his group of people are just going to take down the CRM without help. I just think it has to be internally to get help. It just makes sense. Carol, that's a good question. Q&A, anyone, what good is a subscription to AMC Plus if you can't get advanced episodes anymore? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Is it going to air earlier that day? Or is it just going to air, that night on 9 o'clock on AMC and AMC Plus? Because what is the point of having AMC Plus besides no commercials? That's a kind of a big thing. But it's not worth for a lot of people to have an extra subscription or an extra thing. So we'll have to see. I don't even know what the time is to air AMC versus AMC Plus. Besides, AMC is going to be 9 o'clock. And I believe the runtime is like just under an hour, 55 minutes. So we'll actually have to see, what the actual plan happens for the episode and episodes going forward too. So it looks like Lindsay's watching the older episode. She says, I'm on the Terminus episode today. I've got to get through a season a day before next Sunday. That's a lot of episodes, man. A season a day. Man, that's a lot. And especially because they're not 6 or 8 or 10 episodes. I mean, there's 16 episodes. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff too. So Trackman87, do you think they will connect Dead City, Daryl Dixon shows down the line? I don't know. I really don't know if they know what their plan is. I don't know if they're supposed to be independent shows for stuff because Fear the Walking Dead was an independent show that eventually had stuff forced together with Morgan and this and that. And some of the best stuff of that show was connected with Morgan and The Walking Dead, in my opinion. But I don't know if Dead City needs Daryl Dixon. If Daryl Dixon needs Dead City, I think they can be separate things. Because to me, it is Daryl can carry his own show. Daryl can carry a big chunk of the Walking Dead universe. Not everything can go through Daryl, but he can carry a big chunk of it. Now, Dead City, I think Negan can carry that show much more than Maggie. The best parts, in my opinion, for Dead City was Negan, not Maggie, not Herschel. Not really anything to do with Maggie. And I like Maggie. I like Lauren Cohan. But I think Negan was just the best part of that show by far. I think Carol could carry a show. And I know Rick and Michonne, obviously. And each of them by themselves, I think they could carry a show too. I hope so, Trackman. He asked, do you think Rick and Daryl will reunite? I hope so. And my wife and I were talking about it too. We were like, what's the point of The Ones Who Live or any of this nonsense spin-offs if we don't get reunions down the line? If it doesn't end with the group coming together, not even everybody. I don't need everybody at all. We just need major reunions and connections. We need Rick and Michonne, because they're together, obviously, to be reunited with 4 or 5 people, right? We need Morgan. We need Daryl. We need Judith and RJ. We need Carol. And who else you got? I personally would love to see a reunion with Negan. But we'll see. And that's kind of all we need. And we need to know that Rick knows about RJ. Like I said, I would write it where Rick is getting away with Michonne and this and that, boom, boom, boom. But he's injured. He's kept alive. He makes it back home. He gets to see Judith. He gets to say RJ. He says goodbye. And then he dies. I think that's the fitting, best way for Rick Grimes to die off. Is he going to die of old age? Is he going to die? I mean, these characters, Rick dies in the comic. And if they're doing some of the comic stuff in this extra spinoffs, I don't want Rick to be shot by a kid, a la John Dory and Sebastian shooting Rick in the comic. Enough of that crap. Stop showing anyone can die and no one's special and this not nonsense. Kirkman and whoever else wrote that. Whoever wrote that John Dory should be shot by an ungrateful kid is nonsense. Whoever wrote that Sebastian, some uppity, pretentious kid in the Walking Dead comic, should shoot the main person in the comic of The Walking Dead is stupid, in my opinion. But that's the way they did it. That's the way they went about it. You know, Rick is a hero. Rick is the superhero of it all. And he dies by some punk. Weak, in my opinion. But, you know, it's all right. And again, it's a zombie apocalypse story. These are fictional things. So, like, oh, anything could happen. And it's a zombie apocalypse. It's fictional. You can have fan service. You can have big moments. You can have big things that happen. You know? Like, it's just funny. But either way, guys, hopefully you're having a good time, being safe, not dealing with the snow, the rain. Where it's raining right now. It's been raining all weekend here in Tampa Bay. And it's kind of chilly today. But, yeah, it's crazy that we're 1 week away. And I can't, like, I got a crazy week ahead of me for work because we're down a therapist because he's on vacation. And then we got another therapist down for family stuff. So we got a fill-in person and myself all week. And I'm going to have the fill-in person 3 days a week. And then that person's done. It's just a lot of craziness going on at work. But before we know it, it'll be next weekend. We'll be talking about the episode in a little bit, or potentially next weekend. So I'm tempted to have, you know, I'm going to be making more videos. You know, a lot of people have been asking me, where have I been and what's going on and blah, blah, blah. Well, I wanted to put a lot of time into my book series. And I'm glad I got it done this weekend because I wanted to get it done before the premiere of The Ones Who Live. Because I was really trying to have that done so my extra time that I can have can be devoted for more videos with The Ones Who Live, because I still want to talk about, you know, the show and the franchise and the universe and everything still, but I'm probably we'll see how it goes and we'll see what the future is. You know, I still want to talk about Rick and Michonne, but it's kind of getting towards the end of the Walking Dead universe, you know, and so the channel will kind of have to morph and change and, you know, adapt like everything. And we'll be having different topics of conversation, different shows, different movies, different everything. But we're going to continue with the channel. We're not going to get rid of it by any means. It might just be less and different topics and stuff, but, you know, but that's neither here nor there. That's down the road. But I was telling my wife, I was like, yeah, The Ones Who Live premieres next Sunday, the 25th. So that's episode 1. And then there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th episode, if they go in order, which I would assume they would be March 31st. So it doesn't even get to April. It's basically a March show. 6 episodes are going to be like that. And, you know, I've heard nothing but good reviews of the show so far. The first 4 episodes the reviewers got. Some people are saying that Collider or whatever didn't have a good review of the series. And then some people say that Collider doesn't like it. But, you know, I want to see what Forbes says, too, because Forbes is usually really tough on the Walking Dead franchise universe people on there. And so if they're giving it good remarks, which I haven't seen, or if they're giving it whatever the remarks are, they're usually pretty tough on it, too. So. Let me see. Any questions? Fan Deluxe Q&A. Do you think if there is Rick's reunion with his group having CRM outfit on with a helmet or cap, Negan is also there, he will give him a nickname like Frowny McTwo-Knives or something? No, I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen because I would assume that early on Rick is going to have the CRM gear on. You know, and the helmet and the cap and the stuff. He's going to look like that, but then he's going to eventually have jeans on and his boots and everything, and he's going to be look more like the Rick Grimes we know. Because early on, he looks more like the CRM helicopter pilot or mechanic or technician or whatever his job actually is. But we're going to find out there too. A lot of speculation about that too. So. Before Danny Cab, do you think Kirkman wrote Rick's death because he was angry at the AMC stuff going on Lost? No, I don't know. Like, I would assume that the comic is the comic and the show is the show. I just think he wanted to end it how he wanted to end it. You know, and his writing is what it is. Some say good, some say bad, some however it is. But eventually he wanted to kill Rick off. And then he said, Carl can carry the comic, and he does for one comic issue, and then it's over, which is hilarious too. So I hope there's a lot of good stuff in the hopper still for the Walking Dead franchise and universe, but it just feels like this is kind of the last hurrah with it. And I don't know how they're going to end it. I don't know how they're setting things up. I don't know how they're doing things with the future of the franchise and the universe. But I don't know what their plans going forward. I feel like they want to make money. I feel like the Walking Dead universe is still a cash cow, and they're trying to make more money with it. But I just don't think 6 episodes is enough for Rick and Michonne. Like, there's still a lot left to do. Like, I would be okay with them doing one season of 16 episodes or 12 episodes. We need at least 10, in my opinion. So if we got 10 episodes of The Ones Who Live, and it's basically 10 hours, just under it probably, I think that would be plenty to have a lot of things going. So that's basically like a season and a half, or just over a half, because 6 episodes and 4 more episodes, But 2 seasons of 6 episodes, I think is enough. I don't think we need any more than that if they do it right. But again, I don't know what the future is that they plan to do. And I would think, and I would assume, but I would think that Andy and Denai were like, look, okay, we're going to do a show now. We're not going to do movies. We're going to do a show. And it's not going to be a Rick show or a Rick movie. It's going to be Rick and Michonne coming together. What is the end game? The beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning, the climax, and the resolution. The finishing thing. What is it? That's how stories are. You start, you get to the big moment, then the climax, the middle part, and the end. So it's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's basically the format of all things. Whether it's a trilogy, that's why there's 3. A beginning, a middle, and an end. 3. That's typically why they do it that way. So you get to expand the franchises and everything there too. But if you do it in a series, now you can just write forever and have, and use a lot of shows are 5 to 6 seasons. And that's kind of what is a matter of time too. You don't stretch it out too long and you don't rush it. It's tough to actually do there too. Dragon, having seen Andy and Denai's interviews, my feeling is that they are trolling like Emilia Clarke did with Game of Thrones Season 8, best season ever. Your thoughts? I have to watch actually the interviews. I haven't really seen much of their interviews and what they're saying. And I personally don't care what they have to say. Because like you said, like Emilia Clarke, Season 8's the best. And it was the worst season of Game of Thrones. So are you being sarcastic, facetious, whatever the words are? Are you doing it on purpose? Because I'm going to watch, and I think everybody in here is going to watch The Ones Who Live, no matter what, right? Whether it's good or bad or crappy or whatever, but they're still going to watch. Now, I don't know if it's going to bring back 10 million viewers. If it gets 1, 2, 3, or 4 million people, I think that's the best they can hope for. If it goes above that, great. What if it does amazing, though? What if it's an amazing storytelling 6 episodes? We want more, man. We want more. If World Beyond got 2 seasons of 10 episodes each, if you gave The World Beyond 20 episodes, no. If you gave Fear the Walking Dead 7, 8 seasons, what the heck are you doing? 8 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead. We can't get 2 or 3 of The Ones Who Live. Rick and Michonne. That's what we want. We want Rick and Michonne connections. So then Major General Beale has to survive. Jadis probably has to survive. They have to build up their stuff to go after Rick and Michonne. Then we have to get our group together to go against the big bad. 3 seasons more to go. Spinoffs, whatever. Because I don't know how else to wrap it up besides a big endgame Infinity War battles against the CRM. The CRM is kaput or better. Like if you take out Major General Beale and you take out this and you take out that, you get rid of all the nonsense. Because the CRM people, they're taking people in, obviously. But we learned in World Beyond that they were killing communities. Like all of them. Wiping them all out. And not everyone would be bad. So I doubt anybody and everybody in the campus colony in Omaha were threats to the CRM. Like, I doubt you would have to kill 10,000 people or whatever it was, how many people they killed. Like, everyone was going to rise up against them. And, like, what are they rising up against? They're in Nebraska. What are they doing? Like, you know, they're not, like, getting everyone together in a big, you know, mob of people to go take on the CRM. And then if it was, then you could take them down. But you could have had people with jobs, skills, education. You know, maybe they did, but I didn't really feel like that was as well, too. So, Rob K says, season 1 of The Ones Who Live ends on a cliffhanger, I bet. It probably will. Because comics, I mean, this isn't comics anymore. This is like the extra stuff. But The Walking Dead is based on a comic, a graphic novel, but it's a comic. Come on, right? But they always have it where they end on a cliffhanger, setting up the next issue, setting up the next book, setting up the next series, setting up the next issue. Also, talking about not comics, but like cartoons, I guess. Did any of you guys see the X-Men 97 trailer? So, and also the Deadpool trailer, pretty awesome. I'm excited for that. But X-Men 97, I grew up with the X-Men cartoon every Saturday morning. And I actually own the DVDs of that X-Men cartoon. And on Disney Plus, I think it's like March something. In March, in Disney Plus, they have new episodes of that with Cyclops and Jean Grey and Wolverine and Beast and Jubilee and Rogue and Storm and Gambit and all, just everybody's there. Different, obviously different voice actors and everything, but it just looks cool. Like, it takes me back. Excuse me. And I'm like, wow, awesome. You know, just and there's a thing about nostalgia, right? It takes you back to where how old you were and young you were when you watched TGIF or Power Rangers or Pokemon or whatever. X-Men, Saved by the Bell, whatever the shows were. Friday shows, Saturday shows, Simpsons, whatever it is. And that takes me back to one of the things too, so I hope it's done really well. And I think it looks pretty good though. Even though Morph looks weird and Bishop looks a little different and Storm has a little different haircut. But the X-Men were my people, man. That was my thing. The X-Men were my superheroes. So I'm really excited about Wolverine and Deadpool and stuff like that. You know, like if they can do it right, which I'm sure Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, I have great faith because they've all been good movies so far, in my opinion. But if you're bringing in the X-Men and Deadpool and then you're going after that, you know, because if we can get a good amount of stuff going, because like after Robert Downey Jr. left the MCU with Endgame, it hasn't been the same, and Chris Evans left, and a lot of the bigger stars left, and yeah, you have, you know, Thor and Winter Soldier, Falcon, you know, Hawkeye and stuff like that, and Hulk, but it's still like, man, we need something big, and I think the X-Men could be awesome, especially if you have like Magneto. I don't know what they're going to do with Wolverine because of Hugh Jackman, but Deadpool, this, that, you know, Gambit, like they Rogue, you know, just, it could be awesome. It could be really cool. And I think if they do it right, there's a really thing there too, especially with the nostalgia stuff. And like I've said this before on here, and I've said it on time, you know, a bunch of times, and I'll say it again. X-Men, you need to recreate the cartoon, but in live action. Like it starts like the first episode of the cartoon starts. The X-Men are in a mall. Jubilee is in a mall. The Sentinels come in to get Jubilee. The X-Men are there at the same time. They fight off the Sentinel. Jubilee gets away. They go take her there, and they say, look, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they bring her to the X-Mansion. You know, stuff happens and blah, blah. That's what you need. Like, Gambit is awesome. Like, and especially Gambit and Rogue, and it's like so many things. Like, it just needs to be that. I think it would just be a home run. A live action version of that too. I know. I just would be awesome. I just would be excited to see that as well. I don't know if they will, but only time will tell. But there's been, no word about Daryl Dixon season 3. The Daryl Dixon stuff, season 2 is done, wrapped, post-production now. We don't even know when that's coming out. Season 3 is likely, I'm guessing, but I don't know if that's going to film in France or what, or they're going to do that too. So, I don't know how to say K Shalahub at the PT channel. If the first season is about Rashon reuniting, then what will season 2 be about? I mean, it could be about anything. It can be them going against the CRM, finding out that the CRM exists, really is that season 1. Season 2 is taking down the CRM and basically, setting the world back in place and have good people in power for the Civic Republic and the CRM. Could be season 2 and season 3 with a big battle for that, and that's how it ends. We'll see. Yeah, Lindsay says, agree, Bri. I love Gambit and Rogue, my 2 favorite characters. Right. Like, they are together, like synonymous. Gambit is just like, his power is pretty cool because he could turn anything into like an explosive charge. He's got the kinetic energy, I believe it's called. And he can pick up rocks and then, or his cards. His big thing is his playing cards. And that was kind of pretty cool. So he could do tricks with that. Rogue, is a beautiful Southern belle, whatever, but she can't touch anybody because she drains their powers, and she can fly, and she's this, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of room there for, success and box office. Because, I think Deadpool is probably going to be the first movie that I really go back, that I'm excited for to go back to the movie theater. Because we haven't really been to the movies. We used to go to the movies a decent amount before COVID. And now it's not really a thing. But with Deadpool, we might go do that and have a good time to go watch Deadpool and Wolverine. So, So ultimately, guys, it's awesome because we're a week away. And it's so close yet so far. But I'm excited for it, guys, because, Rick is awesome. Andy Lincoln is great. Denai Guerrera is great. Michonne is, my favorite character. And it's just awesome to see them coming back around again. And imagine if we never were going to see them. That would suck. There's a lot of little things that are wow. Imagine if Daryl Dixon wasn't on the show. Or if they killed him off in the first season. What if it wasn't the Dixon brothers? What if they didn't do the changes for the show, that the comic was just exactly put on screen? The show is the show, the comic's the comic, twists and turns, different showrunners, all that stuff. And then, what if Rick never left the show? And he died in the last season of The Walking Dead? What if Carl never was killed off? What if this happened? What if Shane never died? What if all these things were there? And I still think that would be a great thing to have. I still have yet to play that video game where you can change the stuff to go down different paths. I just haven't played it, and it looks terrible, and the voice acting looks terrible. So, I don't know. Has anybody played the video game? It's like Walking Dead. Oh man, I'm blanking on the name. But has anybody played the new video game where you can change the things? It just looks terrible, But yeah, guys, so that's what's going on with that. The Dead City, like I said, was going to film in April, or it was supposed to be March in Massachusetts, but I believe it's April now, is what they said. Maybe it's starting in March, but main production will start in April. Because you do have to be careful of the winter in Massachusetts. I'm from the Northeast, so I know all about winter from January, February, March, maybe even into April. And they filmed the first season of Dead City in the summer. And so that was a summer filming, which they didn't have to worry about winter in New Jersey. And if they film, in April or something there too, hopefully it wouldn't be, because you can still film indoors, but I doubt they have snow written into the story. And maybe they can just change it a little bit if there is. It's not that big a deal. Because if they're supposed to be in New York, it snows there. They're in the Northeast. They can get around it. But I don't know how it fits with the writer's strike and the actor's strike and all the strikes that really changed things. And really, because I know they were supposed to film early last year. And then with all the strikes, it got delayed. Everything got delayed too. And just like the Rick show got delayed, and it was supposed to be 3 movies, and now it's 6 episodes. So, I would assume that they're just adapting the Rick movies into 6 episodes, because if it was supposed to be 3 movies, which were hopefully 2 hours long, that's 6 hours. And if we have 6 hour-long episodes, that's 6 hours. So there we go. Bing, bada, boom. That's how you do it. Galchino Q&A, which spinoff do you think will cross paths with Rick and Michonne? Sorry, it just jumped on me. First, Dead City or Fear the Walking Dead's Morgan? I don't know. That's a good question. Between the two, I personally would think it's World Beyond. Well, it just obviously is, because Jadis, the way she's dressed is the Jadis from World Beyond. And she also looks a little different, and time jumps and whatever. Because she has like longer hair, and then she has shorter hair, and then she's in the black attire. So it's clearly Jadis from the World Beyond. But I don't know. I don't think it would be Dead City. Like, I don't think it would be Maggie and Negan. But I would love to see Morgan. But then how does Morgan know? Because when Morgan leaves Fear the Walking Dead, he gets on the radio and he says, "Hey, I'm going to come find you, Rick. I don't know if you're even there, but I'm going to come find you." And then he's just walking through there, and he's in Georgia, and he's going back, and he's going to walk all the way up to get back to Virginia. And Rick ain't there. And no one knows where Rick is. Like everyone, not everyone, but Daryl and Michonne were looking for Rick. Nobody else cared. And then Daryl was still looking for something. And then he's in France. So he ain't showing up. Maybe timelines and things, but he ain't going to show up. And then Michonne is all about finding him. So we know she's going to be there too. So, but Morgan goes back, because Morgan left in season 8 after the war. He just left. So a lot of stuff happened with the Saviors and this and the Sanctuary and the Kingdom. So a lot of stuff happened. The Commonwealth, he doesn't know about that. But I would hope that Morgan, like, it'd be really cool if Morgan went to the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth has to know about the CRM, right? I mean, they don't have to, but they have to. They have to. They want to know something, because the Commonwealth is big. It's huge. They have alliances. They have allies. They have groups. They have things that they have to be a part of. The CRM is the biggest military operation in the world. Yeah, okay, great. They're the last light of the world. Great, okay. Did they attack the Commonwealth? Did they work out a treaty, situation, group, alliance, agreement? I don't know. It's really ridiculous that they don't. But, Carol has a position, but she's not there. She's in France. Or was she? I don't know. Time things all jumping around all over the place. So, but either way, Morgan needs to reunite with Rick. We don't need to see. So Morgan needs to take his daughter and leave her at the Commonwealth, and then Morgan goes out. Take her to France. Take her to France. Take her to the Commonwealth. Leave her there. She can hang out. The Commonwealth is safe. There you go. And then Morgan, we don't need to deal with his daughter Mo. Didn't the original series abandon the idea that Rick should lose his hand because it would limit his physical capability as a protagonist? Well, that, and also it would cost way too much money to have the CGI green screen thing to be digitally removed in so many parts because of Rick being such a big character. Like, Rick is the biggest character in the Walking Dead universe, or one of. Rick, Daryl, Michonne, Maggie, Carol, they're huge characters. There's huge parts. Aaron, not nearly as crucial to the story as Rick is. And you're not going to give... So you gave Aaron an infinity gauntlet, so he puts his hand in it, but he can't flex it because he doesn't have a hand, so he doesn't have a wrist, so he can't bend it. So it looks like... So if you see my video I posted this morning about some photos and some news about Rick and whatever, Andrew Lincoln is clearly wearing a black glove in one of the photos. So he's like punching. And clearly he has a hand because Andy Lincoln has two hands. And you just gave him a glove because it's his real hand and you don't have to digitally remove it. Maybe it's removed in the episodes. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just he has different prosthetics. Or maybe he didn't lose it yet. But it's very Return of the Jedi with Luke. Well, he loses his hand in Empire Strikes Back, but he wears the glove in Return of the Jedi. So very much like that. And, I talked about it in the one video too, talking about Nat, who's the little person that's with Michonne. And they worked, Denai Guerrera and that actor have worked together in some other movie or play or some other thing. And so they know each other. And so I'm thinking about it. Why did they bring a little person into this? They would exist. They would be around, for sure. They might even have a better chance of survival than average height people in the zombie apocalypse. But now, it's not necessary to make him a little person. But they did. And I was curious, I'm not saying they did it at all, but are they taking the success of because Tyrion to me is the best, if not one of the best characters in Game of Thrones, right? Tyrion, Jon Snow, Daenerys, they're like just the best characters in my opinion on Game of Thrones. And so you already have a bunch of badass women protagonists, no dragons, but they were like, hey, let's bring in a little person. Why not? He can help out things. Or was it just by chance? Because he doesn't need to be a little person by any means. Is he going to be, like Tyrion? We'll have to see. But it was just kind of interesting. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A. What if the Whitey Boy killed Daryl? He ain't going to kill Daryl. Daryl don't die. Daryl's going to be the last man standing. Daryl will never die in the Walking Dead universe. Unless it's the last episode of the series. He will never die. So, yeah, it's definitely something that we're excited to see. I know I am. Hopefully you guys are too. And it'll be here before you know it. So, we're a week away from the return of Rick and Michonne. So it was kind of cool, So we had the Super Bowl last weekend. We had this weekend, not much going on. And next weekend is the Super Bowl of The Walking Dead. No, it's the Walking Dead Return of Rick and Michonne. Where we started Succession Season 4. And we're going to finish it because we want to see what happens. But that show is so... What do you guys think of Succession? Have you ever watched it? To me, it's a show about nothing happening every season. The same stuff. Kendall versus Logan versus this versus Rome versus Shiv versus them coming together against Logan, and now this and now that and now this acquisition and this problem and that thing here and now Tom and here, and it's like it's nothing happens but stuff happens. Not anything of significance. It's just like I can't believe it's like 3 seasons that I finished and not much has happened, stuff, it stuff happens obviously, but not enough that's like, wow, this show. Hopefully it gets better the last season and stuff happily resolves. It's just, if there wasn't Kieran Culkin for the comic relief, and then Tom got funnier and Greg is pretty funny, but like, it's just like, what am I watching? And Connor's pretty good, but it's just so many different little stupid little stories that it's just kind of like a waste of time. Thank you, Hard and Nixie. Says congrats on the 20th. So I'm guessing it's in regards to my book. So yeah, I mean, the 20 books is an awesome thing. And I remember talking to people on here and on Facebook and on YouTube and everything, that I was like, do people still read books? You know? Because I haven't really read many books for fun or pleasure or entertainment or whatever. I mainly read textbooks for college, for grad school, for high school, for schooling. And, you know, I really kind of asked the question, do people still read books? And they do. You know, there is still a big market for books. You know, I see a lot of patients, a lot of them are retired. And so they don't have a lot of money and they don't have cable or streaming services, but they go to the library for books. And they go for this for books. And they do that for books. And they do a lot of things that are, you know, just free for entertainment. And books are still very important. Writing is very important. I've come to the conclusion over my years, over the past, you know, so many years, that I'm like, writing is way more important than I ever thought it was. Because it's a great form of communication. And communication is huge. You want to convey the right message. But sometimes things get lost in your tone or your words or your whatever. You may have the best message to deliver, but your delivery sucks. Or vice versa. So it's a whole big thing about, you know, delivery and communication too. And so writing is a huge thing. Even if it's just writing in a journal, writing in a thing, you know, it doesn't even have to be writing for fiction, nonfiction, whatever. It's definitely cool to just, I don't know, like, even if you write things just to get it off your chest, like, you have to have an escape. You can't have things build up in your body. You have to have a release, whether it's working out or doing martial arts or running or swimming or dancing or whatever. You know, like, you have to have something in life because we so much in life, whether it's work or your boss or your job or your neighbor or your spouse or your grandma or your dad or your mom or your friends or your, you know, siblings or whoever. Like, there's just a lot of stuff coming at us all the time, and we're always feeling like it's so much, I don't know, crazy. Carol Q&A, are you going to take a break from writing or have you picked the name of the next series? I'm going to take a break, but I have picked the name of a future series if we go that route, which I want to take a break. You know, I definitely want to take a big break because it's not easy writing a book, and especially writing it well. You know, like, early on, I was like writing a book and I really didn't edit it, and I was writing it and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to write 4 books a year. And I probably should write 2 books a year, maybe 3, but 2 is the good number because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's to do it right. You know, in my books, you know, I got 200 and, you know, a thing about the author, a thing about this and that too. So it's really 200 and there, 237, but then a front page onto this. So it's like 230 some pages. And it's a bigger book, you know, it's not, because if it was a smaller book, it would be more pages. But the size of the book, too, I thought this was like the best kind of size of it. It's not real thin. It's not thick. But it's, I don't know. But it's a thing they're just try to explain what people do for, you know, real life books and writing. Real life stuff. You know, I don't have a publisher. I don't have an editor. I make the covers. I write the books. My wife reads it and edits it. But then I do another edit and I do that. You know, it's like me doing a bulk of the stuff. So it is kind of what it is for the future of it. But ultimately, you guys, we will be going forward with the channels and the books and everything's too for down the road. But we'll eventually get there. So hopefully you guys enjoy your Sunday before the premiere of The Ones Who Live. Definitely check out the Fight For Us book series. In 100 Days is the prequel to it. I have in the kind of the book, every video has the I'm blanking on the word. The part of it that you can see the stuff that comes up in every video. And it gives you the 20 books in order, the prequel series in 100 days, like the description. I kept blanking on the word. The description of every video, and on here too, it gives you all the different, the books in order. They're on Amazon, paperback, digital format on Kindle, and there you go, guys. So the big thing about it, guys, I'm excited for the future of everything, especially my book series, and also, the Walking Dead universe, of course. Yeah. But all right, guys, that's my hour. I'll be back next Sunday to talk about The Ones Who Live, the premiere. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. I don't know when it's going to air on AMC and AMC Plus yet, but typically they would air the morning of on AMC Plus. So, but it's probably going to be a 9 o'clock show on AMC. Probably an hour and a half because they want that 90-minute window for the 55-minute episode take. So they're going to have 30 minutes of commercials making that money. So we'll be back next Sunday, guys. And remember, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Keep working hard. I'll be back next Sunday. Enjoy this Sunday before the return of Rick and Michonne. See you guys next week.